they lively. Hello, my family and Kabo. Welcome to Sherix Broadcast Network, the place where we bring Africa live to whosoever you there around the globe. Of course, today, now me and AnnMarie Williams. Now we together for host the program. So now, so today, of course, like you see, AnnMarie there with me right at about this time. Today we get plenty things and for sure. Now, of course, for the one that we just join with for the first time, we want to take opportunity of this moment for officially welcome you to Sherix Broadcast Network, and of course for assure you for saying you don't make the right decision for kind of the right place, because Nayaso will bring you news, information, and education. Of course, today we get plenty things then for bring come to now. You know, now three main areas that we're going for focus today. Of course, NT you don't say, you know, the incumbent political party where they in power when at the All People's Congress. They don't build plenty of the party offices in Sierra Leone, especially in the western area and northern province. Of course, we'll get for check today into how much money they don't spend for building party offices then they, and try for find out who side and pull them money then they for me them build the party offices. Of course, we don't say then elect them party, then so they want for left that legacy so that the members then go no say then they do a very good job for them. But at the same time, we want for know if they play into any ethical standards wise, then they do that one day. So we'll get for check into that today. Also, we get for also a look at the acceptance speech where retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio being get for give after where the SLPP elect him as the presidential candidate. It be get for give a speech, and so we'll get for look into that speech today and find out waiting at some of the things that we talk about. And you know how then things then they go be practical once it take up the country as a president. And of course with my partner AnnMarie, instead of get for do something. AnnMarie, you want for tell family what you get for do.
Okay, thank you. Of course, it's Ibrahim Williams as usual. Also want to talk about one of the aspirant that winner Kamarainba. We just don't do a big declaring asset to the nation. We also want to look at declaration and kind of just go through the assets we give and see whether the purpose for which you do in declaration really meant something to the nation, or it just one because you want to do one. So we have to look at all those things as a program they go on.
Right, and so my family and that we get for do now so today in a Sherix Broadcast Network. So one for me, stick around as we continue for bring you the program. Stick around with us.
Orbit on the beat.
Bang bang, it's the root boy alongside the baby papa. Soundboy. Gonna have a dance. Gonna have a dance. Oh baby, gonna have a dance. No go for my dance. Baby, gonna have a dance. Gonna have a dance. Say my friends are watching me. Oh baby, gonna have a dance. Every night and day, say my baby, me I want more. Everywhere is a way, but now you're with me, I want more. Me, I don't care what I'm saying, say my baby, me I love you, baby. I say, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah, oh yeah. See the way me drum it, them I love it. Anytime I come, they feel it. All my ladies, them I whine it. Anytime I come, they whine it. The DJs, them I slam it. All the people, them I love it. All my homies, them they feel it. And can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at for me. Baby, can I ever dance? When me look into your eyes, let me tell you make me dance. You tell me say you know they go. Now I don't realize and I love no be fight. Some on the rock the floor. Someone is killing me slowly. She want my shit up in whole place. Somebody's calling me holy. She want to want me like play. No way. Oh baby, show me that you better than them. Better than them. Oh yeah. And I go show you say me there and them. Me there and them. Give it today, this day, kill them. We run things the wrong way. Hook up in the club, do it big things. Not do it to Maya, make you step up to the beat. Can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I have a dance? Some other girls, them are coming on me like I know. But I know them are rascal. So many girls, them are one come and go. I see them as rascal. Girl, now you be my toya toya. The next word me, I wanna poya poya. Somebody run, call up toya toya. Can I have a dance? Give me body, can I have a dance? Your body, can I have a dance? Your body, my friends are watching me. Your busy body, oh baby, can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I have a dance?
Of course, that's not brother Timaya. Of course, Timaya, you know, is a big time musician from Nigeria. Of course, Niger, that na dance. Of course, featuring Rude Boy P Square. Of course, one for tell them plenty, thank you. You know, then they promote Africa in a very good way. And so, my family, today we want for welcome you once more to Sherix Broadcast Network. Of course, Adea so with me co-host, of course, winner AnnMarie Williams. AnnMarie Williams, they with me today, live in studio number 8. And of course, as you can see, that's AnnMarie right there. Of course, my family, you see, so Sherix, we are promoting, you know, we come up. So we say for una day around the globe, one for tell una plenty. Thank you for una support for everything. Of course, when I know say today we come to una from the Blue Room. Of course, this is now a brand new studio. Don't get now soon as Sherix Broadcast Network, and we'll get for use and exclusively as we own elections headquarters. Now also we'll get for discuss all issues pertaining to the 2018 elections as slated. And so we encourage you for let you continue for sit tight. Of course, AnnMarie get for come on later on for talk to una about Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. Of course, when I know say na the presidential candidate and leader for the Alliance Democratic Party. So we get for can talk to una exclusively about that Monday, and still when I don't hear say don't declare your assets. So now that AnnMarie get for delve into today. But for right now, my family, we want for talk exclusively about the APC. You know, plenty of people that can talk say, oh, Sherix Broadcast Network una bias. It look like saying SLPP people then. Well, you see, we not get problem for let people then criticize. We not get problem for that. But the thing is, we are bent on talking about the facts. Anything when have facts, now we talk about. We don't talk about anything but facts. And you see, sometimes in the way you don't be so bold. You want to talk about things that when have facts. We not to things the way they make up. The people that way that fact they affect, or either positively or otherwise, then they become a little, then they begin for act like say they're a victim of your circumstance. For say you take a swipe at them, you target them, and that is not what we are doing here. What we are doing here is we establish the network so issues of the day we come up with able for delve into our research and able for come up with something, right? Now, we know say Sierra Leone is a democratic country and plenty things that what they do, what they do based on the constitution organ of the country. But of course, we all don't see in the past 2 weeks or so between the two dominant political parties in the country, the SLPP and the APC, we don't see waiting they don't do in the country. So that don't give you an idea. You say we been in a village where you not go school, we don't know nothing. Now you don't get clue, you don't get an idea as to which are the difference between these two political parties, the SLPP and the APC. The SLPP then believe in democracy, wherein all man they get involved in one way or the other in the affairs of the party. Wherein the APC, then a few people that are at the top, now then they come together, they make decisions where they affect all man. So these are the two fundamental differences. And so when we are looking at ethical standards, we are looking at the fact that the APC as the incumbent political party in power, they don't be in power since 2007 to now. So next year they make them 10 years in power. Now what they don't do in power, they don't do plenty things there. Of course, they don't construct the roads and stuff like that. We will get for can show now some of them in a day. But we also want to take an exclusive look at then party offices. Then we don't see flamboyant party offices. Of course, we don't see the color red mixed with white. It is shine too much. Where they far from it is same. But apart from that, the construction of them buildings, then where they don't build, they don't build then party offices. Then they don't spend money on them. So we get for delve today into that money the way APC don't spend on the party offices. Them we want to know how much na the money and who say possibly they don't get that money from, and whether they are supposed to account for those monies. Of course, I talked to Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray today about that. Of course, we can see that interview exclusively. So let me take a look at some data we'll get now about the APC. You see, on the world where they pass, we'll say world where they pass, then are plenty Sierra Leoneans there around the globe, and they talk about this all over the place. For say, this now some of the expenditure where APC as a political party don't spend on building or constructing, repairing, renovating their party offices. All right? Of course, so apart from that, let me just start out with the convention, where then just getting a McKinney. The convention budget will be put together for host the convention in McKinney now been 3.5 billion leons, right? 3.5 billion leons. Now they spend at McKinney for the entire convention until all we see them chair the way being get that APC symbol Panam. We see all them flamboyant stuff. Then the president picture big one then at the wall. We see all man. Everything was just elegant in there. 3.5 billion with a B. Billion leons, now they spend on that. Then we also get the regional office na McKinney. How much money they spend on that? They na 14 billion leons. Now they spend on that. B. Everything will tell when in B. Billion, right? And then the Kamalo office, then at Woodside, Dr. Samura Kamara Komots. In hometown, that one, the party office, where they how much money they spend on 2.5 billion leons. And of course, the Chinese office within a Portney Street, now 24 billion leons. Now they spend on them. Then the Kabbalah office with a Kefala Mara, now in spearhead the building of that office, 7 billion leons. So total, they don't spend from between the convention and the party offices and everything. APC don't spend approximately 51 billion leons. And when you translate that into US dollars, that's $6,658,050. Now they don't spend. Now they don't spend pan both the convention and the party offices, right? And so people then they ask the question as to where APC they spend this kind of money or so. Now, how about all the other things, the national infrastructure in the country? Of course, for instance, let me even take the educational sector, the highest learning institution in the country, the tertiary institution in the country, Forobe College. You go there right now, they don't have these amenities where students then go need, you know, for able for learn in a conducive environment. You know, even then dormitories, them, you know, then laboratories, the classrooms. I mean, everything about Forobe College. So we don't know who say APC pull this money, but it don't matter who say they pull the money. If not people then way really like the country, instead of focusing on building party offices, me if you say waiting, they go do way all man as Sierra Leone go turn around and look at and say, you know, then people they really love this country. But we not see that. I mean, I'm not going to look at the party office. I'm seeing it is beautiful, it's elegant and everything. But that's not going to able make I believe for say APC loves Sierra Leone because they build their party office, so they love Sierra Leone. No, I cannot look at it that way, right? So I am looking at the fact that in as much as they don't focus on the party and they side they will side in party offices, then they will then focus on now either Freetown or Northern Province. So APC don't clearly draw the line between the southeastern part of the country and the northwestern part of the country. That they don't really care about people that are waiting at the southeast. You know, I don't know if not a political game plan that one day, not a strategy for say, you know, waiting, no matter what you do, we'll not go ever win election at the southeast. So let's forget about that. Well, I don't know, waiting not a plan. But this action where they don't engage in don't clearly show for say they don't care about those areas. I mean, we don't see how this government don't fix all the major district headquarters streets then, and then district headquarters streets, district headquarters towns. But then deliberately, they have left Kenema out. Kenema, which used to be the economic backbone of the country. Kenema, where they call, Sweet Kenema, all the one that they left out. The place today is either muddy or dusty, depending on the season. So they don't focus on the northwest. I mean, just like I would don't show you. And when I all know say, we're not to make this up, this is something that is fact. You know, I don't know if anybody they will know what's in APC don't do na Kenema, what's they don't do na Bow, what's they don't do na Pujehun, you know, Moyamba, then side and the Kailahun. As far as development is concerned, I mean, they go say they don't build, you know, make the streets inside Kailahun. But still, for get to Kailahun from Penembu, it's like a death trap, you know. If you don't get proper Montcana, they die inside that poto. But anyway, so this is what the APC has done. So family, there will be just one for bring this camp to now. Of course, we'll get for open the line later on down the line by the program for Leona go able for actually see what they talk about. But by these standards, you know, when I go see for say the APC actually in focus in not day about me and you too much. You know, it's not about you and I. It's about their party. Now the party then leg, and so now they focus right about this time. You know, so we don't have any problem with that. I mean, when you belong to a political party, you get for elect the party, but at the same time, you know, want for do something way very blatant, way very possible able for see through and no say, you know, you are doing this to send a message. You know, for say you care about a certain area in the country and you don't care about the other area, right? So $6,658,050 approximately 90 APC don't spend on the party offices and the convention with them all McKinney, right? And so that's not just the basic fact. We'll get for the check into them facts there. So as they sit tight, next we'll get for bring AnnMarie for let talk to we small about Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. So family, stick around with us.
It's Albert on the beat.
Bang bang, it's the root boy alongside the baby papa. Soundboy. Canada dance, Canada dance. Oh baby, Canada dance. No go for my dance, baby. Canada dance, Canada dance. Say me friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Every night and day, say my baby, me I want more. Everywhere is a way, but now you're with me, I want more. Me I don't care what I'm saying, say my baby, me I love you, baby. I say oh yeah, baby oh yeah, oh yeah. See the way me drum it, them I love it, and the time I come to feel it, all my ladies them I whine it, and the time I come to grind it. The DJs them I slam it, all the people them I love it, all my homies them they feel it, and can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance? When me look into your eyes, let me tell you make me dance. You tell me say you know they go. Now I don't realize and I love no be fight. Some on the rock the floor. Someone is killing me slowly. She want my shit up in whole play. Somebody's calling me holy. She want to cover me like play. No way. Oh baby, show me that you better than them. Better than them. Oh yeah. And I go show you say me there and them. Me there and them. Give it today, this day, kill them. We run things the wrong way. Hook up in the club, do it big things. Do it to Maya, make you step up to the beat. Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance? Some other girls, them are coming on me like I know, but I know them are rascals. So many girls, them are one come and go. I see them as rascals. Girl, now you be my toya toya. The next word me, I wanna poya poya. Somebody run, call a toya toya. Can I ever dance? Give me body, can I ever dance? Your body, can I ever dance? Your body, my friends are watching me. Your busy body, oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance?
Yes, of course, if I'm with Timaya once more, of course, dance, you know, that song I like bad, I like and bad. So, you know, when I get for forgive me if possibly we not like the song, we'll play with like and bad na Sherix Broadcast Network, of course. And so next we get for bring AnnMarie in for make you go do a special talk on we own man, Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. And so my family one for me stick around.
The chairman and leader for the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray, don't call on President Nkrumah and other political party candidates for the 2018 election for declare the assets in open one before the 2018 election. Well, let me listen to what Mohamed Kamarainba been say yesterday as himself been go declare assets in open one.
You know what happened? Only presidential candidate declare in money, in assets, what he get. Because all the rumor, me don't do them. I lead by example, and I make sure say people do by example. So one of the main reasons I don't preach politics of truth. Not enough for me, people enough for vote for me, give me the presidency. And I do them, and I don't call on President Nkrumah himself for making declare in your assets. So I do that, and also all the aspiring presidential candidates made and declare the assets.
Okay, most people can declare assets privately, but you do it openly. What's not the reason?
Because I want to lead the people openly, not to secret society. Leadership not to secret society. Then make box so. Then don't make leadership like secret society. Then make everything for be open. And when I be president, I declare my declare assets every year, and then every minister, deputy minister, ambassador, every top government person for declare every year. We not do, I mean, not only lost your job, they arrest you the next day, you go under a serious inquiry, because now the people that you want govern, and when you want govern the people, you for sure real leadership. So me do it openly because the people go for vote, not to that secret society they will do them, and they continue every year as president. Next year, I declare back openly what I get in the country.
One go once for no waiting at some of them thing they are so he declares.
Really, I get host them. I get 5 hosts in America, and one my family live there. The 4 I rent them out, and I get 2 hosts in a salon, and my vehicles them. I get 6 vehicles them, and my money in the checking and savings account in America. My retirement them back where I don't work under and call a 401k, 413b plans, and also my account the way again a bank na the foreign account and the loans account. Now no more, and the cash in hand I can show today. So but God don't think they are not show them because I been try for limit, but it ended up being about $2,058,000 where as an asset where I get. Not what I don't spend on, what I get going forward. Now yeah in America, na bank and even the cash money where they with me accountant today now win about $31,000 and about 53 million swimming in my hand where I can show people them, and I don't show everything out, and I want to make sure say people and just emulate that.
Okay, like some civil society them don't they call them politician then for make them declare their assets. Now force them force you or you just do them willingly?
No, nobody not force me. I'm not tell you this. In fact, when they hear the announcement, the civil society then come to me and say, wow, we really admire you. You see Andrew Lavalley, we one of the executive directors them come he proud of me, and they say he really happy this now unprecedented, and I want one day happen, and then just happy with anything that happen. So like I tell you, nobody not force me, and we Kamarainba lead, others follow. That don't show you alone say Kamarainba for lead come March 2018, so let others follow, make Salone a better country, and I can't stop for now continue for show people them integrity, like continue for tell people and say nothing on this world when we ever go lie. I go always tell the people the truth.
Okay, with all the money and property as so where you get, then you want be president, when you come, you want for add and then so where you get.
No, not at all. Make I tell you something. How many hosts? Look, I get 5 hosts in America. Now one of the sleep inside. That one day now 1 bed, and that portion of that bed in my grave. Yeah, back I get host them now 1 nobody sleep. So technically, I do everything in my power for make a stay. When I mean stay is make I know do, because I mean even the salary what they make in America now over $124,000. It's over 900 million leons now they make every year. So if I look down there left and Kaya, why nobody add that? I think because I want to see.
All right, and so me farm with them, AnnMarie get for take over from there.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim Sheriff. I don't listen to between Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray do, which for me it was very much impressive. You know, initial point when I say there is somebody where one because of the moral values they decide say, okay, I'm gonna do a declaration of my assets to the nation, because the people of Sierra Leone desire to know who they get to lead them, supposing it happened for winning election. You know, for me that was impressive, because for my generation coming up, this is exactly what I want to see. You know, I want to see people that really be responsible. You know, let people that don't take politics as a joke. Let them know say yes, governing a nation is not a tax. You know, you get for they in charge of the whole nation. So basically, you have to have that preparation. So I will see all in the statements and everything will be clear. And for me, that was it was really like within my mind. It was like, okay, we are getting there. So we're not the developer at this point, but we are getting there. We are having people coming forward and want to take a challenge for meet up the 21st century of governance. But as I go through, after the speech, and I look at the transcripts, of a declaration, as an opposition coming in to fight the incumbent, I said, okay, I need to look at every asset we declare and see exactly like, okay, this is not a matter of joke. this is something this man want to show the nation that, okay, if I be president in 2018, you know, I got to be accountable because the principal reason for asset declaration, honestly, it is because you want to show some kind of accountability. You know, you want to curtail corruption. You know, and also you want to show the nation, say, when I come in, I'm not gonna be that president who will get a conflict of interest with what I have to what I'm going to meet in the caucus of the nation. You know, those are the basic fundamental things why you have to really declare your asset. But like I said, I'm an outgoing politician, and I look at it, I say, okay, is this man really for real? What he's saying? And I kind of go through beat by beat of every asset we declare. So me want to just push this question back around, and also here say to go around like what area people in the question say, okay, this man just make a declaration, you know, it will give a full detail of any of the assets. And remember, if really he's serious about what he's about to tell the nation that he got, it is expected some of this things will be gazetted into the government gazette, where for tomorrow we'll use them as a reference. But if he just go and be so scanty in giving us information, that gives us back a question, say, wait a minute, does this man really know what he's about to do, or he just can't do it because he wants to talk, or because it just feels at a point where people don't question. You can just say whatever you want to say, and then people take it like and safer. But like I said, it is 21st century with all they grow up right now politically. We are all open. For everything we put out there are people who are so meticulous, who want to know exactly what you want to put out there. Every time one person, honestly, we will vet anything as a politician put there, because we take people from their own generation right now. So we know how to copy the wrong thing. You know, like you rightly say in the interview, you say, he want to be that moral person. He want to be that pace setter. So being that person, I kind of watch exactly beat by beat of everything what he puts out there. And one of the things when you want to question, honestly, and when he asks them, and since I'm the voice of the people at this point, because I'm asking and telling people what they need to know, I really want to ask her, because if you make a declaration of asset, first of all, you gotta tell us, is that income by yourself or a joint asset you get? Because like America, for example, let's take Hillary. When Hillary won gold for presidency, it declared asset, and of course it tells you this is mine, it is not my own property. We know that because in the long run we want to show for some accountability. And for sure accountability, we need to know exactly the asset we declare, the income we declare, is it just by yourself or it is an income that is joint, which maybe your family or maybe your spouse or whatever. That was not made clear. And also, you talk about 401k. What you talk about? Say you get a 401k and it shows the amount of the 401k. Mr. Mansaray knows very well, he knows it because we live in the United States. Most of them have with documents. If you really get a 401k, get that amount, I was expecting not you saying, but just put a document right there with the show saying, this is my 401k. That way, if we want to get that time tomorrow, you get a reference source over. What do you just tell, but we have the document? Because you need to understand, first of all, we don't have commission that is set up, in that country where they vet people like that. So whatever information you're going to give us, make sure you give a detailed one, because it is also we therefore go out there and go find them resources there. So if you don't give us a detailed resources, how are we going to know? And this is politics. Let leaders then not take politics like a joke, wake up in the morning and say, I want to lead people, and you can just come and say nothing. So more don't pass that level. We own generation never allow that, honestly. And that's what we're starting right now. So I appreciate that, because whatever he did, moral ethics. Now some people just want to say, okay, I can do this. But it depends. What you do, is it better for somebody who will say, me, I will not declare me as a boy, as my very client asset, and where to sell? That is not what we want. want something that is well detailed. And lastly, also, when I want to talk about, you make any analysis. You say you make over 6 figures when you work in the United States. Where do you work? You would expect it, because having the income is not one thing. How did you get the income? Because we are talking about corruption here. You didn't go out there because you want to brag or you want to show, say, this is what I do. You do that because you want to show some accountability and transparency. And also you want to show that if I be a president, I'm going to come back to corruption. That's why you did it. So basically, we want to know where that money comes from. But that was the detail. It didn't show nothing. For me, I really get questions. And this is some of the questions that we put out there. Lastly, also, they talk about, I think one of the interviews where producers will come up later and give us numbers where he said we will call and ask them for really verify whether the assets they're going to get is also young. Also, for you don't give numbers. You're talking about you don't want to give more information because you don't want to get people in trouble. Mr. Kamarainba, you and I know better than that in the United States. Even a number out there is more dangerous than just giving a physical address. It was really better for them to just give a physical address than you give a number. Because a number, I can use a number for the household of that person. So you tell them to give me a number, that number is authentic. The number can be a family member, it can be a friend, it can be. What if I call that person, the person not choose to answer me? How am I going to get that information? And we are talking about presidency here. We're not talking about school prefect thing. It's a presidency we're talking about. So everything therefore the government be responsible. So for me, I have some reservation. And until they come back and give us those information like the 401k, what's that you make the money, the income, what's that you pull on, let me see exactly how you work in tax return at the country, and also the home sale. Of course, you do tax return, and when you get home sale, you do taxes. We have to see all those information, and even the addresses. You have to give us a home address, not just give us street address with no zip code. You have to come up with all those facts. And when was laid out there, I believe Kamarainba will be one of the people that will be attempt something that nation. And we will come up really good look up to and say, yes, he's a man in here. So we're still waiting on him to come out there and give us this information.
Yes, of course, with them, Dr. AnnMarie Williams. Of course, AnnMarie Williams is co-hosting here at Sherix Broadcast Network. Of course, Dana Mohamed Kamarainba, where he talked about just now. And so, AnnMarie, I know the points that always don't raise. So, again, forgive a little bit of details about all the declaration we don't make. Say we'll talk to Mohamed Kamarainba, and he talks, he want for stay on the offensive. Right now in this political business is on the offensive. They want to keep all opponents them on the defensive. So now that game they play right now. But looking at it, you feel say that offensive they don't craft them very well yet because they not give you details yet.
No, yeah. Honestly, let me talk about offensive. I belong to a political party, which is not a secret. I belong there. And no matter what, this is a defensive and offensive atmosphere right now with the ecosystem. So don't do politics like a joke. Right. When they come out, I remember I have opponents, even incumbents. If Samurai, when I said much for Samurai anyway, because of course he's supposed to, because he holds a political position right now. So he's supposed to participate in the nation. But of course they're not run because the business wouldn't do any practice won't deliver. So definitely they're not gonna do that. That I know for sure. But with him coming up boldly to do that, I give him points for that. But only reservation that I have, it has to be himself.
Well, yeah.
Politician also, and looking forward to somebody coming out with that information, it has to be authentic.
Right, and we will get the interview. We ask that question as well. About the fact that certain informations where you don't give them out, especially you call United States people we get the capability for able for go and dig and able for pull information. But if you just give them scanty, so you decide for give a phone number of somebody, one part of the people that way they rent those. I say, well, that person they can be saying now you political party member, we need addresses, right? But anyway, I just like Mohamed Kamarainba in offensive right now. Me man they play the game the way we want to play. Right?
Well, yes. I wish I was old, and I wish the way we can read it from the, taking it from the bull by the horn. And really going into offensive on the position. So I'm not liking for that. But come to modern day politics, we want to be kind of strict. We don't want to be doing this.
Right. Okay, and so my family then, AnnMarie Williams, co-host here at Sherix Broadcast Network. Of course, we get an exclusive interview with Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. Of course, that's now the leader and presidential candidate of the Alliance Democratic Party. Of course, that interview they will go bring come to una right now for let us see some of the things that we AnnMarie don't talk about. For let us see if Mr. Kamarainba talk about anything in this. So stick around and see the interview. All right, and so me family them on the line now, live from London in the United Kingdom. We get no other person but Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. Of course, when I know say Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray, na the president and leader. I mean, na the leader and presidential candidate for the Alliance Democratic Party. Of course, when I know say that party they na party where they grow rapidly. And so now we talk to today live on Sherix Broadcast Network as we can always do. And so let's talk to Mr. Kamarainba Mansaray. Hello, Mr. Mansaray. How you do, sir?
Hello, my brother. I do well. And I just want to say hello to every listener right now when they listen to this program. Right.
Of course, we're also very delighted for getting you here. We know so you're not busy person, and then time they also way they travel, plenty people that can want to see you. So we're not going to take too much of your time, but very, very important. Most of we viewers them, now then they tell we say talk to them and they talk to them and they, let we know what they happen. And so quite recently we see say you declare your assets in Sierra Leone. And so this is not a new concept in the political business in Sierra Leone, wherein you will vie for the highest political office in the country. You decide for tell the ordinary Sierra Leoneans then waiting you get before they even vote for you. So waiting encourage you or motivate you for take that kind of action?
5 years ago, when I've been start my campaign for run for president in Sierra Leone, I've been come with a theme, an agenda where in a politics of truth. Within lacking in Sierra Leone politics, the truth. People and politicians and bent for the lie and politics of deceit. So make out the truth, and also during those years, when I advocate change and also they hold this government accountable. Part of that, you forsake yourself your own precedent. Say this when they run for president, now this and this and this again. So tomorrow, nobody no go ask you again say, oh, this president, he don't think or he don't do that. And also, because corruption are the cancer in Sierra Leone, this is one way where it's very unprecedented. And I mean, the first Sierra Leone where they aspire for president of Sierra Leone, where they don't make an open, declare assets open. And even West Africa, I get a call yesterday where somebody they said West Africa back in the first. I think this don't show real leadership when they make it openly, and also it allow me opponents them we want stand for president me to do the same. I don't call on President Annette by Koroma himself for making declare assets the next 2 to 3 months before he left office. The same thing way Salif Johnson and Liberia do. This, like I tell you, when you talk about leadership, I believe that the whole country, including the whole globe, don't know say Kamarainba don't set the pace. And I will call on Maada Bios and Samura Kamara as they made do likewise.
Right. And so, plenty of people that can talk say, well, another inside the Sierra Leonean constitution for say somebody will vie for that kind of office there for declaring assets. And so you get for take your own personal decision for do things like that one day. But because of how Sierra Leonean politics been done there for decades, we say candidates of that nature not they declare assets. So then just feel say you know what you do now you want to they not get to affect them. What do you say to that?
Whoever say that, now that one way we people of this country not get for vote for them. In order now with constitution for thief, but politicians they the thief not that country. In order now with constitution for make you neglect the people of that country, politicians they neglect them. Not to be constitution bind we when you want to become a leader. We get something what they call ethics and moral values.
Right.
And you get something where you say you forget do things them where you forsake the pace. And also at the same time people them for respect you for what you stand for. So wherever give that excuse the constitution not require for declaring assets, I think the people of this country are going to speak loudly and then go really push that person away and for make sure say that person not ready and really ready for lead. Because what I don't do so now a way that way every presidential candidate go do the same. Even the advanced country there like in America, the debates they're not started as a mandatory. But when the people are start and say, okay, we can do presidential debate, it become a norm. So in no need for there now with constitution, but when I don't start and so now, and I believe that I don't call on all the presidential candidates and for do the same. So it will become a norm now. Every election, everybody will do the same. So like I said, this country now when they talk about change, now this now in a change, not to judge the word. Now you ask them, all things in Sierra Leone, when are they advocate change, me are the only politician right now in Sierra Leone. We no one day they into any corrupt system. We no one day they into governance in Sierra Leone. Because almost all of them, if you look at them now, they're all at one point. They don't be minister, they don't be head of state, or they don't be something. But me are the only one we will raise my hand and say, my hands are clean. And I know one day tip 1 cent and I will bring the change because I know one day in any system we don't fail the people in our country. And so this alone, when I declare me assets, not just in consolation with it, I believe say change and they preach in this country.
Yes, definitely. Of course, we agree with you now. A very positive move down there, especially on the part of the ordinary Sierra Leonean where, they suffer on the streets of Sierra Leone, where they see, because people that don't lose confidence in the leadership of the country. And one of the reasons why they don't lose them, if you say, now the leaders, they no more they benefit from the national cake. So if you declare your assets, before they even vote for you, that they send a clean message. So when you declare these assets now Sierra Leone, how the people that receive them? You able to get any feedback?
Absolutely. In fact, up to now, up to 10 minutes before I talk to you, a young lady where they I palm, is named Umu. And the lady just send message to me, don't go print, I don't even know them. They don't go print flyers them, big flyers them. He say they can distribute them. And from now on, they follow politicians them, be like politics, but a young woman where he see me na radio and television what declare me assets, he don't make up his mind with some of his colleagues them for follow me. Yesterday back I get one guy when they call Alpha, the UK himself day, but he say go Wales for work. Himself he say they follow Yunkela all along. He said, but because I don't declare me asset and this year, him believe saying that you can for me set that page there, but because me don't do one, Ingo can follow me, except other candidates do likewise. So the people of that country, they, regardless of them academic status, they know the importance about asset declaration. And he make the feedback, even an ambassador, top ambassador in the country, he texts me, they say, way to go, thank you, Kamarainba. So those are the kind of things that we, not only the people in the country, but the international community, they look to, they show say, yes, this man is ready, he's tested. Look, the European Union, I meet with them before, a day before I declare the asset. I've been meet with them Monday. And the same thing what we tell them, say, I'm going to declare my assets. And I will encourage them because I made them come really monitor elections, which they say they will look at very closely because they get invitation for that. And when I will talk to the European Union, I will tell them that. And I remember the head of the mission, they look at me and say, really, are you going to do this? I say, yeah, on Wednesday. Not only do this, even cash on hand. Any money I get from me, I will show the people of this country. And some of them declaration they are, and not be, you know, when I put them together, it go the money like I'm getting to be a multi-millionaire. And I don't want that because me are the people's choice. I don't want to look at the money's choice. So what have they do? If it's on land, I get to land them. I'm not incorporate another me within it. So certain things where the lawyer, the two lawyers that work consult will be put them together. If they tell them is something other asset they have declare them, but I'm not doing them based on the fact I just want to look this normal way somebody will believe the similar way of Barack Obama with the campaign, where it's about us, it's not just about me. And I count the retail politics. And retail politics are for talk to people, not to the wholesale. When you see that we leaders and that then know about like wholesale politics. So if I set the momentum, the feedback from the people is wonderful. The text that I get before I come to London. So I believe say people they underestimate certain things. Even the debate, the presidential debate, IB Fantastic Formation you name there, maybe one of the things. I don't tell open challenge to all the presidential candidates and say, we forget 4 debates. One at the west, one at the east, one at the north, and one at the south. We will do 2 in Creole, 2 in English. I don't make an open challenge, and I don't even call some media houses, including BBC and Al Jazeera, for making them all come, make them help for make this happen. And there was a discussion where somebody said, like how you talk to, you're not required by the Constitution. If one of the candidates or 2 say, then we go do on debate, what we for do. One of the suggestions we made on say, would they put red lapa or green lapa or pink or white, whatever that particular, on an empty chair, then we ask questions to that empty chair. We make people know say, that person for stand on the chair, in not day there, in not ready for lead this country. It's about time, it's a change. It's not just speaking, say, low we change, low we change. Your actions. And as this million shown at that country, and I will continue for sure. Wow.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. You know, we don't try for even come up with a debate, but I tell you say for one through the PPRC. So we'll work on that as well. But in case you don't come through, let we just know maybe we will be part of it. But we really admire everything where you talk. Now, by the declaration where you do, you talk about some houses then where you get to the US. And you know, say when you talk about then and the people in now the US then they dig, they want for no. So we don't get a lot of feedbacks. And people then they talk say, oh, the houses the way Kamarainba talks say it gets now the US. We don't check now other people their names and they Panam. So not too true, na lie. You know, you want for comment on that this morning.
Yes. I'm glad because you don't be the first exclusive medium where I will talk about this. You know, one thing about Salonian, we not able satisfy. We're not able to satisfy everybody. By so being, some people are very cynical, and it no matter what you do, especially as a young man, then they feel this one to the person we tax here, you don't spend at the UN, or you don't spend this and that. Why you were able to accumulate this much? I'm so happy for me. Also, in Salone, they're not questioning. In America, and what did this person do? When I put them post there, I'm not being put an house address. I put a street address. So the people then go take random host address. They say, oh, this is a land. The reason why I rent them property there. I have 4 of them. The one that they me family me picking right now they live. So the good thing is, 2 of them property there. I rent them to Sierra Leone. In fact, I therefore call them consent because you know Tennessee laws in America. I don't go put people out like that in public. You never know what's gonna happen. And as a political figure of houses. So one man when at Johnson, when one of the Sierra Leonean where I really admire, from December 2013, they always then claim saying a lot. Because I want to go pick up. the one the highest bill. And that also, now Sierra Leonean again, in West Margaret. In fact, now the program now said I will left the number to let people and call them because me I've been the politics of the truth Akawi.
Right.
And I will make sure say when somebody they in doubt, either I educate them or I show and light. Because when somebody did not deduct as a leader, now that's like the second thing you do, you forget light.
Right.
So I will give number to the tenant from December 2013 when I rent on that single family house. They pay $1,600 every month. They put on a Bank of American account. And honestly, my brother, from 2013 up to today, then they pay religiously. They're not one day late once. I remember not too long ago, the woman be tell me, say, why will not for add rent to this property because it don't take how many years? I say, no. These people are not one day late, and either they don't want to pay for parents. Make a no reason. From the $1,600 where they pay every month, now in they pay. In name Joe Johnson, phone number na 240-832-9461. So whoever want to confirm, they will even not only show them receipt where they pay money directly in my account, and those are one of the things, and then go make them falsely. And another house where na APC strong woman, na Virginia Macaulay, and he said a number day here, and not only even they will buy the house, where he helped even for renovate them, and he recommend one gentleman, Curtis Woodridge, where they work for the federal government, na Pentagon, na they live in the house there. If I want to tell and say I want to put, I say no, Mohammed, don't put me in the spot like that. So those Macaulay address back there, we go confirm because he said call me yesterday. Now he said APC people and call him for they didn't know say because he know more. Now he tell us yes. He say I can bet me life. Kamarainba get 4 oaths with me know. And I know say this being say go buy oaths in Atlanta because he moved in family in Atlanta in Pekin and Diddy. So now he make 5. But the 4 oaths that we get in Maryland, he say me know about them and I'm part of them. So I think he educates them and they say, oh, we infuse and I say no. He said when I want I go take a tour, I go work out on all the oaths when I interview the people who did it. He said, but trust me, Kamarainba get them 4 oaths today. And I said, well, thank you. So those are the kind of things, my brother. There is no reason for put empty spoon on my mouth. I go talk to I get property that one get. It don't make sense. And the good thing, a happy way, Sierra Leoneans, the way 2 Sierra Leoneans, the one against 2 of the Usem, where then you able call them and confirm certain things. But you know, it just they baffle me. If you WhatsApp me email, nariahomes5@aol.com for the past 10 years. And this me email, it work with the OSM where I get. Naria Homes 5, because I want to register a company, Ria Homes Incorporated, for but if I host them, I've been getting even licensed realtor, and most of the people in Maryland will confirm that when I've been they work where I've been buying them host they have through HUD and through VA, I renovate them, I rent them out. So now investment that what we do, and what I will do by God in power, your station will be the next one because I'm in this salon now. My income 3 to 5 years. I will make about $124,000 a year. So I will count me tax them to your station, and you will get copies them and make them up open. I want to show people them the income way maybe they make before I resign or I return home. So maybe I know 3 to 5 years before I resign go home how much income what they make. And those are the things again where not be doing at the asset declaration about what I come next month in America where your station will be exclusive. I believe will be the first one because I'm Salone for go get a press conference again, share that information. But you will be the first one where go get that. And even as me woman at the same time, they make 87,000, they make 124,000 or more a year. So that don't even include the investment taxes. These are just an income they will be work. It don't involve even the rents that they get from the properties. So people they don't know who I am, but whoever understands within our politics, for go from a party for the past 4 years, 3 to 4 years, it become formidable. 16 by-election we don't contest, and political party they get money from nowhere. Past the few people in the diaspora we can help. For that do and no become Musa we do right now, and I believe say whoever they think go know say indeed Kamarainba a very much worthy of what they say. Even me cash and I know I get I go put $38,000 and I put the journalists they all verify and they say no. Some in fact they helped me, I've been getting £160 salary where I know be no salary day. There was one point now we go look for money while they put on last year and I say thank God my after declaration don't make I don't see this £160. So I'm just happy and that's a whole in my hand when I travel for London as a personal expenses for buy food. But I'm so happy where people I think not only to me the shop. Next one now where they declare the asset, they will go in depth again for verifying the information there because anything where you put public, you find the people and do them. So I encourage when people to do that and it take me time. Even one civil rights activist we call me instead I take me time again. In fact, in America now, he said don't go confirm 3 of the them, but the one who my family didn't Atlanta back, he want to try for go and he say we don't do our pictures and audios and we go to Salone back and go get press conferences.
Wow, definitely. We are very honored by, the way they do things, and of course, they do them voluntarily. And the waiting, this kind of message they send to ordinary Sierra Leoneans is that you honest to the fault and that in Sierra Leone you really like, now make it they do what they do. So we really appreciate that. You don't need.
I'm not going to come there. I worship Sierra Leone after God. I name it Pekin next month is 16. It is on 10 years, Miguel Pekin. He named Sierra Leone Mansaray.
Wow.
I love Sierra Leone. I worship Sierra Leone. People don't know.
Girl Pekin or boy Pekin?
Everything for me to say Salone be a better country.
Now boy Pekin or girl Pekin?
Now girl Pekin.
Okay, so Sierra Leone is a girl. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Mr. Mansaray, so let's talk about politics now a little bit. During the SLPP convention, you were invited there and you go there. And when you go there, you give a speech. And the speech where you give was that come March 7, 2018, SLPP, the one that will not be here and fine, but maybe here because I listen to them, more than that stuff. What you talk was, either the flag bearer, the presidential candidate with the SLPP they elect that day, or you go be president of Sierra Leone. But plenty of people they understand and for say you don't talk see now SLPP presidential candidate get for win. And so I want for me you elaborate on that small and back tell people then wait to make you be very prominent at the SLPP convention.
Thank you. Live start to the very end. The SLPP invite me and the ADP for go make a statement. The APC no invite me and at the very same day they get in convention. In fact, two ministers then text me. They say, why you not here? And at the APC answer, I was never invited. So I say no, yes, and they're wrong because political tolerance for be something we will be proud of. So I go to the SLPP convention and during my statement what I go make. And I tell people, interesting the way people they conceive information. I say this room where we all day also. The next commander-in-chief,
the chairman and leader for the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray, Donkolon President Nkrumah and other political party candidates for the 2018 election for declare their assets in open one before the 2018 election. Well, let we listen to what Mohamed Kamarainba been say yesterday as himself been go declaring assets in open one.
You know when they happen, only presidential candidate declare in money, in assets what he get. Because all na rumor the number me don't do I lead by example and I make sure say people do by example. So one of the main reasons I don't preach politics of truth. Not enough for me people.
But like I say, Sierra Leoneans there's some few people when you say A, then they say na B, C. So those people will not be able to change. But one thing about make it clear, that room day by God in power, Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray will be the next president of Sierra Leone come March 2018. Which I strongly believe. And, I want to just a little bit of my brother, where I talked to him before I came, and I tell him, I say, Kande, you know SLPP too. And Mohamed, he said, no, put me in that category. And I say, you are. I say, you don't spend 2 years. They run for the leadership of SLPP. And you will succeed. And after that, because you fail, you can't try for. You look the people always around you right now. They're all SLPP. So technically, you're SLPP too. I say I remember, Yunkela will be in 98.1 few months ago, where a texter called. Now he say the one with phone number. Me give me phone number. Yunkela say your phone number na SLPP. And at that time, he talked how nothing no go make in left SLPP because in Papa, even when they young, now they go play at the office there. So if you know your Papa in value, and a party where you spend 2 years, you know you will defeat Maada Bio, 1%. You form an alliance, you form all things, you know you will pull 1%. You feel say you will able to beat that same person on a 5-month election. You feel say you will able to beat Mohamed Kamarainba 5-month election. You feel say you will beat Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. It's not possible. You know, people they know they don't understand. If you take 2 years for just lead a political party, you will convince people how for you will get you 600 and some people and for give you delegates and for give you the flag bearer. Why you feel say 3 million people go you were able to convince them where they don't know say all these years now APC. There's not change you go call there because not only you na be Minister of Trade, but at the same time you now where them they even say that sell the refinery to Nigerians, but you are also part of the system we don't fail this country. And at the system back a part way don't spend 2 years. Not on the first 1 month when they pitch for my mama, you run away say, oh, this party they don't pitch for me, they don't pitch for my mama, they run away. That's what we don't understand. But you spend 2 years. We go the length and breadth of that country there for preach about SLPP say it's the best party and all of that. And now you go begin criticize and no. I don't think say get that audacity for doing. You come to Maada Bio. Maada Bio, maybe don't talk say all along now Mumu opposition. And Mumu we not need Mumu president. And there's a time where you time don't pass, you time there for come. Maada Bio in time don't pass, I don't tell them. And there's nothing change. Maada Bio Bukaya. It surrounds itself with people where in certain way government. The same thing as Chromatiso. There's a lot of people around Maada Bio who don't be able to do not settle them they even watch them. So those are the kind of system when a failed system. And Samura Kamara, you look at her now, time for it we get for elaborate more. When we talk about the economy failure now, Samura Kamara is the #1 into the. In fact, it's so apparent than even President Alex Kuruma. So, in a nutshell, but time for people to digest on those things. I just want to say, when we talk about change, there is no candidate where get the audacity for talk about that for the Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray winner me. And by God willing, I will be the next president of our country because the people that know say I don't go prison twice and I don't look me office bonds this BNT. I don't call on this government. I mean, I'm the only one. I tell people and say the past 2-3 years, make somebody show me who say Maada Bio opposed and it's by Kuruma in politicism or in governance. I say I they give $1,000. I took an openly 2 months ago in Freetown. Nobody will give me a video audio where Maada Bio publicly don't oppose. So if that kind of people are where they run for president, not be able to hold a ruling party accountable, not able to ask them for me and transparent, how you feel say that person will able to govern a nation?
Well, you know, some people that can talk say, wait, don't be a flag bearer or presidential candidate for the party, so it not been there in a position for criticize the sitting government. So now that he don't be presidential candidate, it's about time for him to start criticizing the government. And he begin to say his speech.
Now, my brother, now live excuse that. Anybody will say, now put you away, I think you need for go may bring them in and check up. In fact, I will talk to Dixon Rogers, one of the SLPP members of parliament. He says I agree to that. The constitution give him mandate. When Barack Obama not be they win the Hillary Clinton low campus Republican, you not be they win the flag
Democrats,
or
right?
the Democrat where you criticize the government. Even Donald Trump, you not be winner. These are the process. In fact, that they make Nigeria. I'm not being big flag bearer of ADP. In fact, even the bosses them, the under boss them, I'm not even get political party. 2014. When I criticize them both them, me not just a citizen. I'm not even ADP not be from here.
Or like what would they do now? You know, what would they do now? The media,
so,
yeah.
What they say is people that want to make a false excuse. No, Maada Bio not get the guts, not get the tenacity for old President Kuruma. Mark my word, even going forward, you know, go see criticize because I had to tell you that thing and not get that tenacity for your government. Nobody, you get all the right for make you criticize and also hold president, government accountable. Not only ensure a member of a political party, you get that right there. Chapter 35(1) of the Salone Constitution give every Sierra Leonean right where belong to a political party for me hold a ruling party accountable for anything. So if Maada Bio one get excuse say, in fact that makes sense. Nobody no go follow you. So that means if you not to flag behind, you not go talk for the people. That alone will make a lot of people not go ever vote for him if somebody make that excuse there. Because if somebody go say, oh, now you selfish and so if you not win, you not go talk for we. We need people to talk for we before we hand over power.
Before we give them right. And so, so let's talk about you political party, the Alliance Democratic Party, small. You know, from when you begin the party, plenty of people that don't come on board. When I don't get sizable, you know, a lot of people will follow you. But in a democratic system, people then they question as to whether somebody get for challenge you for the presidential candidacy of your party. They say because now you know more than anybody will come up, you defend way for clamp down on that person, let go back down. So now you know more. So it's like, you know, there is no democracy in the ADP. What you go say?
Anybody will say that unfortunately follow politics in Sierra Leone. The reason being, we are the first political party with the whole convention in Sierra Leone. We hold on a U building, PPRC been there, NEC and international bodies and come, SLPP been there, all other political parties in there. In fact, the party we been can contest for the leadership of the party. There was a time we did not do on time. And PPRC even tell them we're going to the meeting. PPRC said, no, well, your constitution says in not do on time for contest against you. Now they say, no. In fact, the late talk to me, they raised me and I said, no. I said, as a leader, I will talk to the party, look accommodate them. I said, make it can pay the 10 million fee, where they require, make it can contest. And it can be paid the 10 million. In fact, it paid the 10 million, the money of the convention. Now he say how that's what I do. So we go there, we do in fact we not sound like APC or SLPP way. APC don't election, SLPP they back on selection of delegates. Now delegates the number. What do we do? Police IG will send officers them and people say whoever gets a membership card because now that we constitution call for. Now primary that we get anybody with a membership card can vote. So we know now if I neck help we for me the ballot papers that we'll be doing. We will pay the help for printer. So because of that late entrance we make not be able to use the ballot paper. So what we do it openly, everybody can be win overwhelmingly about 90-something% of the vote. And you're not going to believe from then the next time we get on a stadium, we're gonna 2-day convention we get, it be so open. And you know, now that's a bit so even people that we want the leadership, next year we get convention. If you feel say me not to the right, come back and challenge. Make you see if you call it because I believe in democracy. And I don't want I make why they do everything I do and for make I get support. I not do and for me don't go and pick people everybody who can be member. I remember somebody me tell me say, oh, they will go pay people and go join the party for can make a with against. I say, so be it. I say, but me one thing, the vision what I get, and every voice counts. So we are very democratic, and the Alliance Democratic Party, every new party in this country, my brother, what people don't understand, if my name not there that much into what I do so, this party will fail. The reason being is when SLPP been formed, it's all about my guy. When APC been formed, up to now, it's all about Sherix. When PMDC been formed, it's all about Charles Magad. When Temu Bangura been formed, it's all about Temu Bangura. This is how political parties are formed. But later on, one I don't into governance, then your roots they begin coming out, they get branch them, they get leads them, that's how they grow. But the beginning, now one person decide where they head them, when I know the main name to the party. Every party has it done. So some people do not understand because of me right, and then they feel like say, why are you no more? But now two things. Not only run the ADP as a leader, but at the same time, I run for president. So like now, I tell you the vision, I kind of the media. I'm not going to send somebody for come talk about Kamarainba vision. You know, when Donald Trump them and Hillary been on recently, or Barack Obama them, if you watch them, now then they go to the media, talk about themselves. I mean, you get pundits that way can go around the talk, but the main voice where they want to hear, now from them. When you fail to be all by yourself in politics, and like when you call a one-man show, because Obama was a one-man show, Hillary Clinton was a one-woman show, Donald Trump was a one-man show, and Ibrahim Sheriff was a one-man show. Very well. Even Maada Bio now is a one-man show for SLPP. When you make the SLPP get fracas because they don't fail to get a one-man show, until you don't get a leader, like when Mr. ADP, you go for the one because it pleases the president for govern the executive branch. Now one man they be president, not to 2, 3, 4. So when you fail that, because party are just a vehicle. When you fail that, you don't lose the election. So when people like you say that, oh, na Kamarainba no more, now success for Kamarainba, now success for ADP, say we they can win. If my name failed right now, believe me, ADP not good in governance. So the people the way they do that, I can happy why they hear that, because it shows say when they get to the nerves, and they know say they can win. Now that it itself for be somebody where there's head of the executive, where will be the president of the country. If you're not able to do it within a party level, you're not going to be able to do it nationally where be a president. So those are the kind of education at times the light I can give people where they say, oh, you no more on a one-man show. If I'm not doing, mark my word. Today, if I talk to my PRO, G-Bank, this money coming from America. Now it's a leader. It's not one thing I admire you. It's I don't follow politics a lot. It's a third party that nobody succeed because then I want strong goal that they put all them their resources. Like the Mubangura, my guy, you know, you see another bomb that area there. When I'm back. He said, but you look the east, Kono, Kenema Kalam. And I tell him, if we don't win Kono, I say so the next election I go rethink and I don't go contest. You people don't understand. I'm not get stronghold. In fact, the South where I go the 18th of November by going power, I'm going to go open the office and bowl. The whole bowl will know run like Kamarainba ADP. You go see how people go for come out there for can welcome me. So now that kind of thing there, you go Moyamba, you go bomb. So Kamarainba is not just on northern end or western end, now a whole country. And because of that, I make a note say the 30-35% minimum way me want to say I go get the ADP go get for the presidential election, we go to run up. Or go all out for get them. Because we all logic normally tell people now for we get 3 Sierra Leoneans out of 10. Every 10 Sierra Leoneans just ask if we will get 3 votes and so we don't go to run up. That's not the logic way we go for go win this election. Because 30 to 35%. Now you make a go contest then by elections them. Now the north the most strong goal of APC now Bombali, I go there, I get 40% of the vote. All man saying I will be win the election. I go Losar, put lock up, I get 30%. So don't average, do the constituency don't average 35%. These are just by election. So if I continue just that reason there, you go see say if we get 35%, we don't win this election. And people don't know how much we get for do that. But I wish match will come very soon, make them know how Kamarainba stand, how we go for win this election.
And so, yeah, Mr. Kamarainba, plenty people then where they talk around, you know, when Australians around the globe, they talk about how much money where the APC government don't spend per in your own political party buildings them within the north and western area. You know, that they talk about the budgets no more where they make for the convention where they get a McKinney, they say be about 3.5 billion with a B leons. They say the regional office within a McKinney 14 billion leons then spend per that. The office within a Kamalo office, which is Samura Kamara Komots, they say now $2.5 billion leon. I mean 2.5 billion leons then spend on that. They say the Chinese office wouldn't get a Portland Street. They say they spend about 24 billion leons. They, of course, the office na Kabbalah when na Kaifara Mara nine been there in charge of that. Now 7 billion leons then spend per annum. So when you put the total together, it come up to 51 billion Leons win about 6,658,050 cents. We then spend just panel political party offices. Now, looking at other national infrastructures, you know, thinking about Frabe College, the healthcare systems, all of them, they dilapidate. So, let us say the people of Sierra Leone decide for make you president of Sierra Leone. What thing you think say you go do towards then kind of expenditure then they?
You know, you raise a salient point. One, if you check 2006, before 2007, when APC came in power, APC not get Pambodi when I then you, not the whole country. Because I had got the office, now government office where she can still be given. So, if you watch even the office na Bo, na Victor Fo get out of state. The office at Kenema, na Victor Fo get out. The one at McKinney, na rent list the list a day. So if you watch the only office they get at the time. And they don't even get somebody who want to talk about Lancet. But right now they talk about over $50 million in offices all over the country. And outside they pull that money, now state resources. Right. Because before them come into governance, they don't get nothing. Why I say nothing? Zero. But now, outside they don't come now, they don't get everything so for much the money not of essence for them again. And one thing we go for do is we go for hold these people accountable when I be president. Then go for explain this on explain well. Low no. Because look like I said that Kamalo or APC office, now Samura Kamara Bilam.
Right.
And you look at the one at Kabbalah, now this guy Bilam. You look at the one at Bombali right now, where it will be like a hospital or even a school, but looking at how they build those kind of things, so much taking the resources of the country where we're not able to get nothing better. We look at post office system don't die, and you look at even the police stations all over the country. You look at some areas where need uplift hospitals. You just it's disgusting. Like I said, the government reckless, and they use now the time them for really destroy the fabric of with democracy. And my brother, by God in power, change get for Salone, and like we have to as president. We go for me, I tell this not a hidden secret. They go for accounts for everything what they do right now. And we go for form a commission where we go for get people from maybe outside for come really see. If you say this is clear, you go for show me how even the way you build this yours. But you see ministers they now get 5 hosts them on explain well so we don't know start and pull them money there. Believe in me, when Kamarainba come, those people are going to be account for this corruption. I traveled with one APC man we come on a Salone. That is plain. And the man tell me plain, he said a strong APC became he go die APC. But he said him so believe in me to a point that he not go come on APC, but him go vote for me for president. That's it, really?
Yeah. We
don't know the players. He said, Kamarainba, you have no idea. You don't win me as a patriot and for things Salone force. So for president, you don't win me already. I'm not going to let APC. But the only thing back where I win, I want me to scrutinize, make it hold me party officials accountable will be president. Now I say, really? Then he say, yes. He say from the president, all the way go down.
Right.
I want to make you hold them, will you be president, ask them, may they explain all them well, they'll start getting well to them. So this give me a sign of hope. If somebody win a strong APC person, now in they tell me things like this, that also say that person they don't even fed up with own party system. Right. So those are the kind of hope way. In fact, when we come back, we kind of plane what happened for Salone at the back. Now he say, Kamarainba, he say, you really every day. He say, I go for you because I've been in at the VIP. So the woman will be clean the bathroom, then 4 be there. So I go sit down with them for 20 minutes and I talk to them. The woman will tell me, say, one day, he said, I they see you Kela them, ministers them, just say them. He said, if I now look, then they look with them. He said, you for country don't talk to me. He said, for country don't talk to me. He said, it been really, really make or feel proud. So the man said, wait, go talk to them. He said, 2 of them, they swear to them to kill their life. Said, nothing will make them not good for me. You know, I did even I said, well, I said, this is the kind of politics we play. Then he said, Kamarainba, you just every day you improve me wrong because I'm one of the main critics. Even when you declare assets, I mean, the first one said, no, it's not possible. That man not getting well today. And they start the assets document to watch him. Now the approach the way, say, wow. He said, no. He said, I'm really, really convinced. So, those are the kind of things we will continue to do, my brother. But believe in me, APC or anybody in that governance, they will and they misuse and abuse that we country resources get back come from.
And so, Mr. Mansaray, you in London right now, waiting at the mission where you're on right now in Europe or London?
I can't do a free town hall meeting, not to fundraising, not to nothing. Just come for talk to people. What I believe, if I can win the heart of some Sierra Leoneans in the UK, then go call the people and back home, say, no, I vote for that man. And today, this Saturday, I found out I don't dress for can go. And then they vote for that man. So those are the kind of things that I come for can do. And from here, and they move Holland. I get meeting back next Saturday the 4th, Germany the 5th, and Belgium on Wednesday. So I can't just do European tour, a free town hall meeting for meet people and sell me vision and sell the ideology of the party. So those are the kind of things that I can do.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray, leader and presidential candidate of the of the Alliance Democratic Party. Of course, he talked to me today from London in the United Kingdom. Of course, we're very much happy and delighted every time we will talk to you, Mr. Kamarainba. Of course, at a very short notice, we'll call you and you are ready to come on. So thank you so much for everything. And of course, we also appreciate you for all the updates and way they send to we personally. Every time something happen, you do an audio, they send them to we. We appreciate that as well. So we wish you all the best.
Thank you, my brother. It's a pleasure for day with you. Like I say, you know, one of the few Sierra Leoneans that were man at the diaspora. You did do all those things, not to money that they give you from nowhere. You did spend your resources just for market the country and also get information them so that the people make informed decisions. You know, one of the few Sierra Leoneans who admire. And like I said, this will not get time now this country again. And you call on me at any time. I will come next month. We'll come back now the studio day. No, we talk about certain things. Right. But for now, I'm just happy the way things that they go. And I believe the change will come at Salone. Right now, the APC get plenty money for give people. In fact, the audio I make yesterday, I tell people and say, man, it's the money. Today, say people and call me, say, Mr. Kamarainba, with the audio, with the go, they don't give you one bag rest at the area. So now go ahead and when I eat the money, because when government and at the CN is by Koroma, so the way the person in host and ministers them, you see people like beggars them, 50, 100, 200 people and go wait na do. For wait for a normal day, partially give them money. If they don't put a country or society where the people that don't come beggars, even video and then they want the past. Now say if this president, me own president, I see people that they cannot live, they great, that they can't enough for big no more. They can, hey, papa, hey, do we? You know, those don't show say this president and this government don't fail this country here. If then they do them in there, I don't see no reason they don't turn the people into beggars. And I say when I low eat the money now money, but when March 7, 2018, Julia, vote wisely. Think when I know we think. So whoever they listen to this message, it's about time we think how we go able to make a difference. Now the lives of the people, we all lives, especially people waiting at the diaspora about where they listen. Make change. Not get complex just because folks don't work for United Nations or work for European Union or work for AIDP. No. Get way say somebody where you know say it gets the vision. It get the tenacity, it get the clear record, where go able govern that country. I think that that's we Sierra Leoneans for and back on, and I believe say that that's me getting at the table. So I thank you once more. We give me the opportunity for deal with you, and I want to tell everybody, may God bless them, and may God continue to bless this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mansaray. We will talk later then.
Thank you.
All right, and so me from with them now, Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray. Of course, I know say plenty of people in the way want for call and comment on waiting Kamarainba the talk, but regrettably, one for tell us say this not a pre-recorded broadcast interview will be given because now this early morning we get the interview because right about this time it get a meeting now with in party members then at London, and so. I'm not going for take any call, but I make a promise say it'll come back around the 24th of November, I think, for Thanksgiving, and then around that time, then they will go able for put them live, and people then go able for ask them questions, and you know then kind of thing. So for right now, we just want for appeal to una all because we're not able for call in and talk to them directly. That was a pre-recorded interview, all right. And so from there, when I hear from Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray on plenty issues, and of course, we can come back AnnMarie, we na my co-host now, so for make you go able for talk on this issue. But now that you don't talk about, and so AnnMarie Nina the specialist on Kamarainba, so me not get for make any comment on him right now. Na Inge for can talk bottom later on. But for right now, we just want for let one know that one day. And so, from with them, you know, we want for continue for make this appeal to now. You know, I know say plenty of una they out there, when they watch, we shows them. When I don't see, so we don't get a brand new studio now. So this is not the Blue Room. Now they will broadcast from now. And we put this Blue Room together as a result of some help we'll get from some of we viewers from around the globe, you know, the help we out. And so now that make we able for put them together. So one for tell them people and they plenty thank you. Most of them say they don't want for even announce their name, but we just want for tell them plenty thank you for what they do. And of course, we still continue for appeal to una all. I mean, if una equity what they do, now election they come. And if we all care about Sierra Leone, what would they do now? So would they do them purely because of our passion, and so we not get problem for continue for able for use with meager resources for able for continue for do what they do. But if anybody they will go on for help, we do you go to the GoFundMe page. The address now www.gofundme.com/SBN support fund. GoFundMe.com/SBN support fund. All right, now there you go. If now $1, $2, whatever you able for cheap. I mean, you know, Salone people that I know say we like free things. I mean, this is free. We're not not really suppress or you know force anybody for do anything. But if you really like what they do. Because time they come where you go and forget live information from Sierra Leone. And so we got brothers and sisters now the country where they don't study journalism, they don't do mass communication. When I don't see few of them where they report to winner so on situations in the country, especially the conventions that we don't pass, then be they live na the ground that they report to we. And so if we want for me then continue for the do that one day for we do you get for chipping something small. Now GoFundMe account, okay? And so we just want to make that appeal to una. But if I'm the next thing we'll get for talk about now, so before AnnMarie come with me and to go close the program, we'll get for talk exclusively about the acceptance speech where the presidential candidate for the main opposition Sierra Leone People's Party Bingi, when I retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio, for an acceptance speech, and this is just the tradition in a democracy. We'll not see Dr. Samura Kamara give any acceptance speech any side. But in the SLPP, when you are elected by the delegates, the next thing you do, you have to accept their nomination of you to be the presidential candidate. And so when Julius Maada Bio was elected, he gave an acceptance speech. So now that speech they will want to take a quick look at right now for really see waiting there inside that speech. Because see plenty of people in the claim say Maada Bio not the talk. You know, na mumu flag bearer aspirant, na mumu presidential candidate. But me don't look deep into the speech we give. Waiting at all the areas that we highlight, you know, because not true that one day me able to know the kind president he will be if he happens to win the elections. even though Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray don't talk say in Inge State House by March 7, well, you know, say that confidence the all man gets them. But one for no waiting Julius Maada Bio specifically talk. So me family, I want for Launa continue for hangout between us so as we continue for bring come the program so now. You know, the speech one for reading to una verbatim, and so it take a little bit. But do ya when I hang out with we and we, you know, now we all country this. So waiting the you know, presidential candidates in the talk is very vital. We have to listen. We have to try to understand, and so at the end of the day, we make a sound decision as to, you know, who is going to be our next president, the next president of Sierra Leone. I mean, can you imagine? The country has gone through quite a lot. You know, thinking about 11-year brutal civil war that killed about 50,000 Sierra Leoneans and forced Sierra Leoneans to be displaced, and most of them became refugees. About 2 million of those. You know, and then, you know, the Ebola crisis that struck the country, 4,000 of our people died. And then, you know, the mudslide that happened, 800 people died. Hunger, starvation, corruption, all of these things happening in the country. And so it is very important that for those of us, especially those of us in the diaspora, you know, wherever you are around the globe, watching us now, that it is incumbent upon all of us to really show care, you know, concern for the next person that is going to be the president of that country. So let us see what you know, retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio said in his speech, right? And so let us see that exclusively here. All right, so we'll get for read on verbatim, you know, bear with me here. So Maada Bio, after his election as the flag bearer aspirant, this is what I say. Mr. Chairman, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago, I stood before the august body after I was accorded the honor and privilege of entering a new service for our great party, the service of being its presidential candidate for the 2012 presidential election. Then it was a new beginning for me. Today, it is an essential continuum. I have again been bestowed with the honor of serving our party for a second time as its presidential candidate for the 2018 presidential elections. In 2012, our party's victory was stolen as blatantly as it had been done in 2007. In 2007, the ballot in 477 polling stations were cancelled when there was in fact no law existing to permit that. In 2012, the presidential election results were declared whilst counting and recounting of votes in a number of electoral districts were still in progress. The SLPP, as a party that is supremely law-abiding, allowed those rigged results to stand in 2007 and 2012 only because we believed in the maintenance and preservation of peace, stability, and security in our nation, and we did not want to see our country degenerate into violence and anarchy. This time around, the 2018 presidential, parliamentary, and local council elections, we want it to be clearly understood that nothing, I repeat, nothing, short of free, fair, and transparent democratic elections shall be acceptable to the SLPP. All of us, therefore, government and opposition parties alike, bear full responsibility to ensure that credible and democratic elections are held in an atmosphere completely devoid of intimidation, interference, and violence. All right? All of us, I mean, and the National Electoral Commission, that's NEC, whose primary legal duty is to supervise and conduct such credible and democratic elections, bears the greatest responsibility. Accordingly, all political parties, whether in government or in opposition, must know that they have a sacred duty to respect the independence of the NEC. In recent political narratives, a great deal has been said and written about the notion of putting the country first. I agree wholeheartedly, and as the presidential candidate of our great SLPP party, I challenge any presidential candidate of any other party to come forward and demonstrate how they have promoted or protected the interest of this country more than I have. Suffice it here to give just 3 notable examples where my actions have exemplified my commitment to putting country above self. The first time I demonstrated this was when I willingly submerged myself and my personal ambition in favor of protecting the paramount interests of this country. No law for a country can be greater than subjecting one's life to be the defense of one's country against external aggression. I believe today that I am the only presidential candidate for the 2018 elections with a proud record of military service when I defended this country from armed attack by the Revolutionary United Front, RUF rebels, aided and abated by external forces in 1991. Right? Okay, the second time I sacrificed self for country was when, as the head of a military government in 1996, I voluntarily handed over power to an elected civilian government following the general elections of that year organized under my watch. Presidential candidate of this party. The third time was in 2012 when, as the presidential candidate of this party, I agreed not to challenge the rogue presidential elections of that year. How much more can anyone sacrifice his personal ambition for the good of his country? Delegates, today, our great party, the SLPP, stands at the brink. Its democratic credentials have been displayed beyond all doubt by conducting free, fair, and democratic internal elections, not only to elect a new national executive to run the affairs of the party, but also for deciding who amongst us should lead it to the 2018 elections. Despite the many divergent views amongst the honorable contenders for the party's flag, the vast majority of our party's membership have again expressed confidence in my leadership to take our party back to State House on 7 March 2018 and transform this great nation. Right? Distinguished delegates, for this singular honor you have bestowed upon me, I can't thank you enough. I feel deeply humbled that for the second time you have elected me as the presidential candidate for this great and historic party for the 2018 presidential and general elections. I also thank the Almighty God for making this possible. Today, I call on all of you, whether you voted for me or not, to join me to commit and rededicate ourselves to work even harder for the total unity of the great party. For through unity and collective strength, we will be revitalized and our victory to State House will be assured. Therefore, allow me to take this opportunity to commend all of my former candidates, our colleagues, flag bearer aspirants for their generosity, graciousness, and the exemplary value they have added to our party throughout the peaceful and mature flag bearer contest. Because of you, our internal democracy is stronger, our party's constitution is respected, the rule of law is firmer, and yes, because of you, we have had a free, fair, transparent, and democratic internal elections and not a selection or coronation. The delegates have spoken loudly, clearly, and without equivocation that democracy shall always prevail in our great party. I now wish to appeal to all my former colleague aspirants and to all our supporters to come together in peace and unity and be part of the engine of democratic transformation of our country. Delegates, for the conference you have reposed in me, and for the confidence you have reposed in me, and for the hopes of millions across this country you have rekindled, I hereby humbly accept your nomination as the presidential candidate of our great party for the March 2018 presidential elections. Let there be no doubt, let there be no mistake about it. The 20 elections will be that different. We shall win, and win decisively. Nothing more, nothing less. We shall win both the elections and the results. Our elections management and monitoring will be the most robust, and our polling agents shall be ever more vigilant. No one, I mean no one, dare attempt again to rig elections against the SLPP in 2018. This time around, our march to State House is unstoppable. Conference. The elections of 2018 shall be most important in a generation. The stakes have never been higher and the expectations have never been greater. For the stakes of the general welfare and well-being of all the people of this country, Whether you are a supporter of the SLPP or not, you have no option but to vote the SLPP into power under my leadership if you want this country to regain its respect and dignity and replace the fake development which running the country like a business in the last 10 years has brought about, with a rare development under an administration that will operate with speed, efficiency and effectiveness and work in the best interest of all Sierra Leoneans and not just for the privileged cronies. Conference for my mistake I might have made in cause of the flag bearer campaign. I want to say from the bottom of my heart and with an abiding sense of humility, I am deeply sorry. Also, I want to say sorry to any aspirants for any position in our party or any party member who might have suffered any molestation or humiliation from fellow party members for my sake. As a party, we eschew violence, lawlessness, indiscipline, and intimidation as absolutely abhorrent and want to assure you that under my leadership, these shall have no place in our party. Right? And to all those who have left us, today I want to plead with you to return to the party where you truly and really belong. The SLPP is your natural home, and there is no place like home. So let us heal the wounds and rekindle a new spirit of unity that will light the torch to take us to State House. By the same token, let me take this opportunity to make it abundantly clear that you have elected me to be the presidential candidate of this party and to take this party to State House in the 2018 presidential elections. I shall be a leader who will fully recognize the worth of everyone and the contributions of everyone. My leadership shall never be divisive. On the contrary, it will be all-inclusive and all-embracing. Essentially, this means no one is out, everyone is in, and no one will be marginalized or ostracized. The campaign roadmap I shall design and run will embrace all these fundamentals and without exception. In implementing it, I shall approach my campaign in a way that will embrace and not divide. I hope everyone will recognize this and find the necessary accommodation to guarantee electoral success. Above all, no private agendas will be allowed. Delegates, today we are here for something bigger than our individual self. We cannot allow the next decade to be like the lost decade of APC bad governance and visionless leadership that has reduced our resource-rich country to the very bottom of the international development ladder as the most corrupt, the poorest of the poor, and the most miserable. Examples of such bad governance are palpable everywhere. The many preventable deaths from man-made flooding and mudslides and Ebola, the Hajj scandals, the rampant corruption, the raping of our national constitution, the high youth unemployment, the supersonic rate of deprivation and hardship suffered by ordinary people who cannot even afford a decent meal for their families, the abuse and misuse of power, the reckless management of our economy, the high inflation, the devalued currency, the exploitation in the mining sector, the bottomless poor standards of education and healthcare systems are all testimonies of the extraordinary extent to which the APC has failed this country and the people. So much is this the case, so much is this the case that the name APC, which is yesteryear's meant the All People's Congress, has now acquired a new meaning: agenda for poverty and corruption. Enough of this bad governance, because the people of Sierra Leone deserve better. In Proverbs, the scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. My vision for this country comes from the heart, and it is a very simple one: a united, peaceful, progressive, confident, dynamic, and happy nation where the people have access to jobs and the basic necessities of life like food, energy, education, and health services, and good drinking water, and where there is justice and equal opportunity for all. These are not just words from my lips. As your president, they will be the verifiable products of my policies and hard work. Another mantra currently in vogue in the world: progressive. To me, this is not just a mere word. This is not just a mere word. It is an obligation. That obligation is to transform Sierra Leone into a progressive and prosperous country. This objective will be expounded in our party's manifesto, which will give the key to every citizen to open the door to realizing their aspirations. As I have stated, I have always put my country first. Now I want to put you, the people, first. As your president, we'll build a country where no one is left out and no one is left behind, a country where the world will no longer look at us with pity, but treat us with respect and dignity. Together, we will build a country of compassion, faith, generosity, love, hope, creativity, shared values, and limitless possibilities and opportunities for all. As your president, I will restore trust and credibility in that solemn social contract between the people and the government. And where we offer the ladder of opportunity, we will also demand responsibility. I pledge to you that responsibility will start from the top. Let me use this opportunity to appeal to all political parties. Let us use the 2018 election as an avenue to unite our country and not for division. Let us make the election a contest of ideas, policies, and programs, and not for personal attacks. Let us use these elections to promote patriotism and not tribalism and regionalism. Let us use this election to reject hatred and bigotry and embrace love and truth. And let us use this election to restore our pride as a nation and not make our democracy a mockery. In the last few weeks, the National Electoral Commission has come under the spotlight. I want to remind the Commission that they have a constitutional mandate to conduct free, fair, and credible elections, which is a precondition for sustained peace and stability. I am aware of the intimidation and threats from both the executive and the legislative arms of government and even the APC Secretariat. I would like to appeal to the commissioners and staff of NEC to stay resolute in the discharge of the sacred constitutional duty. Continue to stand up for the truth and do what is right. I and my party are not asking for any special favors from NEC. All we are asking for is a free, fair, transparent, and credible electoral process that strengthens our fledgling democracy. In the coming weeks, our party will engage the Electoral Commission on the role of the agents in voter identification, on polling day and electoral results management. Also, we request for the participation of political parties in the drafting rules and regulations that will complement the electoral provisions in the National Constitution and the Public Election Act 2012. Additionally, for the 2018 election, we demand that political parties be privy to the distribution of ballot papers to various districts. And we want answers to the following questions. Who prints our ballot papers? How many ballot papers are printed? How many ballot papers are distributed to each district? How secure or unique are the ballot papers? To President Ernest Bai Koroma, let me say that, like many other heads of state before you, opinions will be divided about your stewardship of this country. The late President Kaba respected the national constitution and organized a free and fair democratic elections that brought your opposition APC into power, for which he was internationally applauded for his democratic commitment. Mr. President, you now have a unique opportunity to write your own history. Allow history to remember you, not for the few sycophantic voices of more time or extension. Rather, you should strive to be remembered as the president who respected the call of his people to abide by the national constitution, who supported free, fair, and credible elections, and who ensured a peaceful democratic transfer of political power. That is the most enduring legacy you can leave in the hearts of the people of this country. To those voters who voted APC last time, you have another opportunity to make a choice. Unlike the 2017 and 2012 elections, this time around, you have no excuse for making a wrong decision. You have already seen all the bad policies and programs of the APC government. You certainly don't need more, and I sincerely hope they are enough to inform your decision. In the coming weeks, I will inform the nation of my policy agenda for 2018, and I promise that you I promise you that my policy and plans for children, women, youth, persons living with disabilities, parents, teachers, health workers, military and police officers are the working population will be represented in those policies. All right, my family. So that's now the speech where retired Brigadier General Julius Maada Bio been give. Okay, we'll not even finish him. But the reason why we read this speech here verbatim, now for let we able for, you know, come to that with the kind person, because plenty of people that don't talk say, oh, Julius Maada Bio not the talk. This man a mumu presidential candidate. This man not the talk. But now it makes some of we been very keen for let we know pardon in acceptance speech waiting get for the inside it. Because now from there you go able for know the kind person we get for be the next president of Australia if he win. Right? But to me, the speech is very powerful. That speech is very powerful. Number one, he is very resolved. You know, I see from where he came from. You know, he don't serve Sierra Leone as a military officer. He don't lay down in life. Sacrifice not the way go past that one day. Of course, we all applaud him for that. He don't lay down in life for Sierra Leone. During the time when he did at the military, if they been shoot that man, they then kill him. Like, you know, they are alive today. For we all sake. So that is something, no matter which political party you belong to, that is something you should applaud him for. Right? And then I applaud him for being able to reach out to in a company where they all be aspire for the same position. He reach out for peace, even the one that we don't left. I mean, like, you know, Dr. Kande Koleyum Kela, you know, Mr. Andrew Kelly, you know, the former First Lady, and all the other people, and the former Vice President, they all don't left. They don't join the National Grand Coalition. Maada Bio was speaking to them as well. That home is home. There is no place like home. You have to come back to the party that you belong to. And I think say that now be a very powerful message. Only if you're able to follow up that message with real actions, you know, with behind the scenes for let things they happen. But I feel say he did a very good job with that speech. You know, I like the way he talked about even the incumbent APC. I like the way he talked to the president. You know, citing President Kaba as somebody who will be uphold democratic values, able for organize free, fair, transparent, and credible elections, will make APC win and a handover government to them. And so they urge President Ernest Bai Koroma for do the same, because that is the call by the people. And all that intimidation and everything what they do to the National Electoral Commission, may they stop all that intimidation and all of that. You know, so I feel say this speech by Julius Maada Bio is a very powerful speech. Now we get for see if this speech will be put into action. And I make some of we get for keep the speech and make sure say we'll keep an at the archives, and we'll get for go step by step for make sure say if Maada Bio becomes the next president of Sierra Leone, if he is going to implement everything that he has said in this speech. Now we did talk about Maada Bio's speech because he is one of the people who don't give this kind of speech in the country. Now we get other, you know, aspirants for the presidential candidacy position, but we don't get this kind of speech from them. Where the president began for choose, you know, Dr. Samura Kamara, we did not get anything like this from him, right? And so there's nothing we can say pertaining to that. So for now, me from them. We get for continue for come to you. Of course, I'm going to be joined here by AnnMarie, of course, me co-host. Of course, she's going to be here, and both of us are going to talk about these issues now. But first of all, I know say you don't watch the interview that was given to Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray of the ADP. Of course, Mohamed Kamarainba don't talk plenty. So, AnnMarie, what can you say about Mohamed Kamarainba, you know, after hearing what he said in that interview?
I know. I don't listen to what he say. You know, I like his tone because, you know, forget that boldness. And that's one quality way as a leader have to have confidence in whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. Just have that confidence in yourself. And kind of get like, control. And I love it. I love that side of him. And just like Monishan say, or clear the air because we look up to them. They're not already there towards a mantle of leadership. We coming up, these are the people we look up to. So in everything that they do, we expect them to do not like 100% perfection because there's no perfection in humanity, but try at least get some more ethics behind it, you know? So that way we can have a booster and say, okay, if one site like a source or reference, I can use him in the future. Like, okay, I remember one year, 2017, this is what this guy did. You know, you never know all the history. And this is what that means they really advocate for, you know? So I listened to him and kind of drive you to what he was saying, but you just have to take your stand at wanting to do the right thing. That's just what I'm doing. So,
you know, also listening to the speech, part of the speech where Julius Maada Bio Bengi, I don't know what you take on that as well, you know, because I really love that speech there. You know, it was well articulated. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can't say more than everything was emphasized. Like the basic things that we'll look at, like one key thing with me right now as a political party, committee say SLP need is that reach out. And I'm happy that he made mention of that, you know, like we gotta reach out because our party, we don't have a choice. SLP people come back to power. That's just what it is. You know, so even trying to close all the loopholes, well, let me go back to the power. That's one thing where I appreciate them for. And also people who get that notion say, Maada Bio not talk. It's rather unfortunate when people come to some, you know, say that he talks. And he got principle too. So, and that has been really emphasized on the acceptance speech, and also making a stand. You know, let the incumbent know, say, you know what, this time around I'm not going to take, you know, whatever you guys are planning, as long as it's contrary to what is established, I'm not going to accept it. You know, making a standard of position, you know, say you are not ready for any, you know, mess with a woman do or any rigging of the election, putting a point across, you know, he made it clear. And I kind of appreciate him for that too. And like a leader, he has always been, so you know how to play this across.
Right, so me from them, that's now AnnMarie Williams, of course, me co-host Nayaso, na Sherix Broadcast Network, of course, now that's not the coverage we're able for bring come to now today. And of course, family, we'll get for can open the lines now in case anybody they we go on for say something about the broadcast what we don't do today. We'll get for can open the lines now. Hopefully everything is going good. And so one for me, stick around as we try to open the line. Stick around with us.
It's all day.
It's the root boy alongside the better papa. Oh baby, can I have a dance? Every night and day, say my baby, me I want more. Everywhere is a way, but now you're with me I want more. Me I don't care what I'm saying, say my baby, me I love you, baby. I say oh yeah, baby oh yeah, oh yeah. See the way me jam it, them I love it, and the time I come to feel it, and my ladies them I win it, and the time I come to grind it. The DJs them I slam it, all the people them I love it, all my homies them I feel it, and can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance? When me look into your eyes and me tell you make me dance, you tell me say you know they go. Now I don't realize that love no be fight. Some on the rock with you. Someone is killing me slowly. She won't mash it up in whole place. Some wine and make you step up to the beat. Can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I have a dance? Some other girls, them are coming on me life, I know. But I know them are rascal. So many girls, them are one come and go. I see them as rascal. Girl, now you be my toya toya. The next one, me, I wanna poya poya. Somebody want to call a toya toya. Can I have a dance? Anybody? Can I have a dance? Your body, can I have a dance? Your body, my friends are watching me. Your busy body, oh baby, can I have a dance? Can I have a dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I have a dance?
Yes, of course, me fun with them. Of course, that's now, you know, Timaya. Of course, we dance. Of course, what a good, beautiful song. Of course, one for tell Timaya plenty. Thank you for that particular song for today. And of course, me fun with it right now. We don't open the lines, or in case you want for call into the station and profile your views for say something about what you don't broadcast today. You can able to do that on the right now, and so lines are open. So in case you want to call, this is the time for you to do that now. All right. And so once more today we covered into the topics that of course you don't see Mohamed Kamarainba in interview. You don't see how much so far the APC don't spend by the party offices. You don't see you don't listen to the speech that was given by Julius Maada Bio. So in case you want to call the station right now, you feel free to do that. All right. And so meanwhile, whilst we wait for people to call, we just want for go ahead and read some of the comments and way people that they write today. Let's read some of them comments then they. Of course, we get Saidu Samon Sankor. He said, let him go and find a job, please. We don't need this type of politician. He has nothing. We get Abu Sul Bangura. Okay. Yes. Abu Sul Bangura, thank you very much. If I be GoFundMe.com. You left the me out, Abu Sul. You left the me out. GoFundMe.com/SBN Support Fund. That's what it is. Fadima Savage, the whole foundation of Salone politics is rotten. New politicians come and just build on top of the old broken structure instead of rebuilding from start. The struggle continues unabated. Then Fadima Savage, old recycled politicians. Medke say, one thing I want my fellow Sierra Leoneans to know is that, okay, so we are getting a call from Fadima, so let's answer that call right now. There's a call coming in from Fadima. Hello, Fadima. Hello, Fadima. Hello.
How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm doing great. Now for talk loud small, so go hear you. How you do?
Oh, una de hearing me now?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My thing was with Kamarainba. I agree in broadcasting on the job and I respond.
Yeah, now for mute the Skype. Go ahead.
And then it comes back that you broadcast today, which you said was pre-recorded. Maybe that's why we continue like that.
Right.
But in say way say it gets permission, and I'm saying it for a fact of something I know that's a lie. He did not get no permission from Joe Johnson. What he did was he just put the man's information out there. As I see it and I call it like I see it. It's just like he was to save himself and he don't give out the privacy of other people. And he put that man's address. Why is it only Joe Johnson that he put an address out?
I got
Why
it.
not put the address of That was my thing with him. That's why I wanted to ask him that question, because I sent a message already to him. I don't know if he got it, but I just want to know why he puts Joe Johnson as a presidential candidate. First of all, to me, I think he has a thin skin. Every little comment that people make on social media, he comes up, instead of going to the right channel, he just comes up on WhatsApp and puts the video out there. If you want, go to Mr. Joe Johnson of this and this, he pays me $1,600. And I sent a message to him saying, Mr. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansaray, I said, Joe Johnson not sign contract with you. We did not sign contract with you to put his business out there. He put it in politics. Joe Johnson is a citizen, well-grounded man, doing his own little thing, and putting business out there. And I asked Joe told me, how many people are calling today? People that wait and not ever put contracts on their phone. People are coming to verify. People are coming. How can you be? You say you are intelligent enough to common sense. That's all I'm saying. That's why he did not get no permission from Mr. Johnson before he put him on blast like that. I'm young concerned. Whatever they do, I mean, we all are for change in Sierra Leone. We all want change. Like I say, I'm not affiliated with no party, but we need change in Sierra Leone. But the structure of Sierra Leone is rotten. And when every politician comes, they just say, put Fantap. And when you put Fantap, what is when the land sees the glass they broke, this they broke, then we begin back again. So we need to recycle. I'm not for nobody, I'm not endorsing nobody. But I'm saying the people of Sierra Leone have to choose. And when they choose, they choose the person that is going to bring sustainable change. Whatever is going to last them, because we're looking at it now, but whatever is going to last, whatever is going to last there, then we were 5 years ago in Sierra Leone. That's what they look at. I mean, I'm not saying that, don't let me. I mean, we all want to change because that's cool. We all want to change. But let them come there and say something they like to the people. And because you're trying to say they're keen or look good, you say you declare that you're not for you.
Okay, so some other people are calling. So, AnnMarie, you want to say something to that? AnnMarie, you want for respond to Fadima? You want to talk?
I kind of get a little bit of what you say.
This caller we don't join. We just hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, not clearly, but the latter part of it and the way they are.
Great. Hold on. This caller, hold on. After AnnMarie, there you go. Come on, okay.
Yeah, I don't like the trend we use for admonish politicians. And this is not the time for coming and just do a sweet talk. It's time for really be considerate, about what you do. And also, I hear the part of where you talk about Mr. Kamarainba Mansaray, where you say he did not get permission. Which, of course, I would blame him too, because there's so many ways you can really, if you want to verify something, it's not true number. You don't need to forget to client a number. That is like a no thing. He knows better than that. Easy documentation will suffice. Just put the documentation here. This is my document to show that this is mine. But given a phone number, that is totally wrong, because I can use that phone number right now to access that man in personal life. And this is what's wrong.
That is very wrong. Okay, and so we get another caller on the line. Where are you calling from? Turn your radio down. Your radio is high.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead. Who is this?
I am calling you from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Okay, yes. Welcome to Sherix Broadcast Network.
Okay, I've been in Salone some 3 months ago. With the Agusti annual period.
Wow.
Where we would expect because with President Zaba Foundation for Democracy in our country, for those change the mindset of the people, or even the war that took place in our country for 11 years. A lot of people died. Well, one of the fundamental reasons a lot of people died was part of it was corruption. Corruption was part of the reason which made the war came in that country, where a lot of people even embraced the war that came to that country at first. But it did end up coming back, and a lot of people died because of that. But all those reasons everything was because of the politicians that they misuse, they make the negative way they manage the country economy, corruption is everywhere. So about Salone, Mr. Stephen believes what you are going to see. Salone looks like a stone age era in an environment where there was no law enforcement. I mean, every office you go, corruption was so much. Everywhere you go, you pay money. I go with an investor, somebody who wanted to invest money in Sierra Leone. Every office you go, they ask a bribe. Every office you go, they ask a bribe. So you see, actually, I'm not supporting SFPC, neither APC or any of the political parties that country. But I mean, let us just sit down and think, what was the reason of the war? They are the ones APC, they demonstrate that they manifest, they represent the Afghan political, they are all flag bearers for the people. And the magnitude of people supporting these people. I mean, it's so scary, and I'm really confused to set up environment where we came from as a country. You know, you go to all these specific roles where they don't make people them. You see the road to the way. You go Calvata, you see the standard of living so poor, our people, everybody's a beggar. You even if you go, anyone can ask you for money that you cannot get. You know, with all these things, and people are still demonstrating as people for politicians. More especially the APC that have destroyed this country. So actually, I'm just talking in general terms because there's no way I can express my feelings the way I feel about the country. And the manner in which they are doing things in that country have affected even professionals like us cannot be able to stay in Sierra Leone. Can you imagine where our hill station, we can only get electricity twice a week? And they say the best democracy in the country, the Bible. Right. So we are praying, we hope that whoever, general, brigadier general, whoever comes to power in that country, we're hoping that this person will come and do something good for our people. I mean, we just want better life for our people. As we are living in the diaspora, we expect it. If our people are living good, then the pressure will be less on us. But I mean, the manner in which these people are treating corruption is just too much in the country. Everything is just about them. Right. The way they are doing the campaign, it seems like they want to even bring in tribal sentiment in there. For example, the North believe that APC is the only way out for them. This is the time now that they begin to get alcohol, drugs, and buy bags of rice for making a campaign in their behalf. It's so scary.
say na his station been there. So when you go back, you know, get place under for sleep. Where you see the talk so.
Well, my brother. No, but I mean, let us be honest to the manner in which these guys are doing things. It's horrible. It's
very pathetic. A small country, 7 million people, 26 different minerals, a lot of resources. Yeah. We still continue to be at the bottom of the Human Development Index. We understand what they say.
It's horrible.
Yes. What's your name again?
Ghana, my brother. Well, my name is Ibrahim Jr. I stay in Johannesburg.
Okay.
Salone just come 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I just run the comeback. I'm not going to live in that kind of environment. What I say for what we know day.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. Of course, go to follow we. If you get chance, go to gofundme.com/SBN support fund and put $1 a day, you know, for that will continue for do this kind of thing. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. We appreciate you.
Okay, pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, so you see, AnnMarie, so these are some of the things that we would actually talk about. I mean, you can find out, say, when, you know, every Sierra Leonean is frustrated right about this time, you know, for the kind of things that we would go through. What do you, what do you think about watching this guy just talk?
I can just say the frustration. Priority is honestly. But again, it mentioned one thing. When you say all the things go on at the country, we see people still go out there and kind of celebrate for APC. That alone, just shall we say, a maturity of the political culture so poor. Because when you have a good political culture, awareness, and enough sensitization for letting people know their rights, and also support the government, also that they owe an obligation. The government has told you, trust me, you're not just a come out there to celebrate for one cup or 5,000 notes, but you only eat for like a week. But that don't show we say we have a lot more to do. We need a better political sensitization in that country, better political culture in that country. Now that none of them will see, because election just around the corner. People need to know, they need to be aware, you know, but there's like I said, there's a lot we need to do. And we're not gonna give up. As we did then, and so we will still talk to the people, let them understand that they don't owe it, they're not all obligation to APC. They're not all obligation at all to our government. It is the government that's all obligation, because the government is there to serve. You know? So I can understand this frustration.
Right, definitely. Of course, you know, it is rather very pathetic. But I think, say, you know, I really like Julius Maada Bio in message, though. He was very strong in that message about the kind of election way they expect for may happen, you know, and the way we talk to even the National Electoral Commission, how they continue for do their job, you know. I kind of you know, really like that spirit, because I really feel say that is the right message where people they wait for, because all man be they talk say, oh, you know, Maada Bio not able to talk now, mumu this that, but I think say that message was clear, and even the way he speak it was clear. I think say we'll forget an excerpt of that very speech there. Let us see by if we go able for Brian Camp, because it go fine for we actually hear it from the horse's mouth, you know, Maada Bio himself, you know, talking about it. Let me see if I can bring that speech up. You know, it is rather very, very, very interesting. And so, AnnMarie, so I think, say, what I'm looking for is that speech. Maada Bio's to convention.
Of the National Electoral Commission. In recent political narratives, a great deal has been said and written about the notion of putting the country first. I agree wholeheartedly. And as the presidential candidate of the Great Four Party, the Sierra Leone People's Party, I challenge any presidential candidate of any other political party to come forward and demonstrate how they have promoted or protected the interests of this country more than I have. Suffice it here to give just three notable examples where my actions have exemplified my commitment to putting my country above self. The first time I demonstrated this was when I willingly submerged my personal ambition in favor of protecting the paramount interest of this country. No law for country can be greater than subjecting one's life to the defense of one's country against external aggression. I believe today I am the only presidential candidate for the 2018 elections with a proud record of military service when I defended this nation from the armed attack by the Revolutionary United Front Rebels that were aided and abated by the external forces in 1991. The second time I sacrificed myself for this country was when, as head of the military government in 1996, I voluntarily handed over power to an elected civilian government following the general elections of that year, organized under my watch. The third time was in 2012, when, as the presidential candidate of this great party, I agreed not to challenge the rogue presidential elections of that year. How much more can anyone sacrifice his personal ambition for the good of his country? Delegates, today, our great party, the SNPP, stands at the brink. Its democratic credentials have been displayed beyond all doubt by conducting free, fair, and democratic internal elections, not only to elect a national executive to run the affairs of the party, but also in deciding amongst us who should lead the 2018 independence of the National Electoral Commission. In recent political narratives, a great deal has been said and written about the notion of putting the country first. I agree wholeheartedly. And as the presidential candidate of the great old party, the Sierra Leone People's Party, I challenge any presidential candidate of any other political party to come forward and demonstrate how they have promoted or protected the interests of this country more than I have.
All right, and so me fam with him that Nabin Julius Maada Bio, of course, giving his acceptance speech. The speech will just don't read to now, the time down the way to give that speech, and so you don't already hear most part of that speech, and so we no need for go over that. And so me fam with them, I want for tell una all plenty thank you on behalf of Sherix Broadcast Network, of course. Me and AnnMarie today, we appreciate una all for everything we una don't continue for do for the support we, and of course una don't forget for going to gofundme.com/SBN support fund. AnnMarie, you get any statement?
I just want to send word to the people in down Africa and say the time is limited. And may they not be fooled by APC strategies. Now, let's have people talking more in, if they can make for the past 5 years, not to wait only 6 months or 3 months and then to make. So let it not fool you. It's high time, we know, say it's time for us to change. And of course, when I know, when SFP get a power, there's a massive difference. So make the choice today and not allow APC to fool you at all.
Right, of course, that's my co-host AnnMarie Williams. Of course, AnnMarie want to say plenty thank you to you for your time and everything today. And of course, me fam with them. Now, so we get for end today's broadcast. We're not hear, or receive any more calls from callers, and so we'll get for close down now. We will continue for close down with Timaya once more dance. But at that, we're able for bring come to una today. Once more, thank you very much, everybody.
It's our beat on the beat.
Bang bang, it's the root boy alongside the baby papa. Oh baby, can I have a dance? Every night and day, say my baby, me I want more. Everywhere is a way, but now you're with me, I want more. Me I don't care what I'm saying, say my baby, me I love you, baby. I say oh yeah, baby oh yeah, oh yeah. See the way me jam it, them I love it, and the time I come they feel it. All my ladies them I whine it, and the time I come they grind it. The DJs them I slam it, all the people them I love it. All my homies them they feel it, and can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance?
When me look into your eyes, let me tell you make me dance. You tell me say you know they go. Now I don't realize and I love no be fight. Some on the rock the floor. Someone is killing me slowly. She won't mash it up the whole place. Somebody's calling me holy. She won't cover me like play. No way. Oh baby, show me that you better than them. Better than them. Oh yeah. And I go show you say me there and me there and them. Give it to them, tease them, kill them. We run things the wrong way. Hook up in the club, do it big things. Don't do it to my and make you step up to the beat.
Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? My friends are watching me. Oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me. Baby, can I ever dance? Some other girls, them are coming on me life, I know. But I know them are rascals. So many girls, them are one come and go. I see them as rascals. Girl, now you be my toya toya. The next word me, I wanna poya poya. Somebody run call a toya toya. Can I ever dance?
Give me body,
can I ever dance?
Your body,
can I ever dance?
Your body,
my friends are watching me.
Your busy body,
oh baby, can I ever dance? Can I ever dance? They're gonna laugh at me.